There is nothing more exciting than expecting your first child. However, that excitement can quickly turn to fear. In 2016, Zachary and Erin Sherwood were expecting their first child, Jeremiah, but Jeremiah had some surprises for them.
He was born 28 weeks, so 3 months early, and my water broke early. It was just a surprise, didn't know that was going to happen. So went to our local hospital at Lewistown, and they, by ambulance, took me to Danville.
Stop it, Mom.
And I was able to, they were able to keep me from going into full labor for 4 days, but then I did have him early.
Like most preemies, Jeremiah would immediately be put on a ventilator, but Jeremiah had another surprise awaiting them.
Actually, a few hours after he was born, we found out he had a lot more problems than we even realized.
So Jeremiah was quite a surprise. He, like I said, being delivered at 28 weeks, he required specialized care because of his prematurity. And in the basic workup of the care of a child being delivered at 28 weeks, his initial chest x-ray demonstrated evidence of a lesion called a congenital diaphragmatic hernia.
And it's congenital, so it's just something that when he was developing happened, and all of his intestines and some of his organs were up in his chest. So he is now 3 months early, and then he had that birth defect. So it was kind of traumatic.
Basically, it means that on one side of the chest, the large muscle that sits in our chest called the diaphragm that helps us breathe is not formed normally. And there's a hole there that allows intestines that live below the diaphragm to then migrate up into the chest.
Jeremiah would need surgery to repair the hernia. Operating on any child is challenging, but a preemie, it's even more so.
In operating on a small child, basically, there are difficulties. You need people that are trained to do it, not only myself, but it's a whole team that's involved. You need pediatric anesthesia, you need the pediatricians, the neonatologists to help take care of the child, and then even the nurses and all have to have an interest in the care in children. When you go to operate on somebody that small, you use magnification. Basically, we use glasses that magnify 2.5 times, so it's able to increase what you're seeing. And then also your instruments are smaller.
We didn't know what we were doing at all, and we didn't, it's hard to discern with a preemie what's normal, what's not normal, because preemies are different, and it was really hard on her because she kind of got robbed of 3 months of Jeremiah being in her belly.
Eventually, the surgery was performed and Jeremiah started down the long road to recovery.
He had a little bit of a rocky course right after surgery, but that's not unusual. His course was a little bit unusual in the fact that he was born prematurely with this lesion that was not diagnosed before he was born. But other babies born with this condition are a lot sicker and require something called ECMO. Leading up to the time of surgery or even after surgery, and he did not need that type of intervention at all.
It is through your generous donations that the specialized equipment was available to Jeremiah.
So with various generous donations, also the respirator, the breathing machine, were also purchased with those donations as well.
Today, Jeremiah shows all the joy and energy of any 3-year-old.
He looks incredible. I mean, he's this happy little 3-year-old who just wants to do what 3-year-olds do and play and be happy, and to look at him outwardly, short of seeing the scar on his belly, you would never know that he had such a significant issue.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't know anything ever happened to him. He's got very strong willpower, which I think was good for him at that time. Now it's kind of hard some days, but
yeah. He goes like 100 miles an hour right now.
What makes him a miracle is the fact that he was born so prematurely with a significant life-threatening condition that he required specialized therapy for, and then had such a remarkable recovery.